What is going on, guys? Taylor Super with SharpSportsNetwork.com bringing you some of my favorite plays for the 6-game Monday NBA slate. I have a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of injuries going on, a lot of suspensions, a lot of injuries that we're still waiting on news on throughout the day. I will be going over the final news and everything else a bit later in the day on Twitch, twitch.tv/SharpSportsNetwork at 4 p.m. Central Time. If you want to check us out, link is in the description. Go ahead and give us a follow over there. Would be much appreciated. But yeah, if you want to enter for a free NBA season pass, all you have to do is subscribe, like this video, and then comment below with your favorite play of the day, selecting a winner every single Monday. And yeah, we'll select one a bit later in that Twitch stream. So if you want to see if you won, make sure to go over there and check us out. But let's just hop right into it. So we know that Joel Embiid and Karl-Anthony Towns are both suspended for today's games. Russell Westbrook's resting with he's just resting on a back-to-back. He's going to be missing Hassan Whiteside. He's expected to play. Jaren Jackson was ruled out. So that opens a lot of things for Brandon Clark at that 4 spot. So Jonas Valanciunas, we know, is still on that minutes limit, playing about 24 minutes now. But now without Jaren Jackson, it's going to leave a lot of room for guys like Brandon Clark, who is a very good fantasy player on a permanent basis. Derrick Rose is already ruled out. Derek Favors is going to be a game time decision. Now, this is one of the biggest ones for me personally, just because Jahlil Okafor is only 3.1K over here on Draftkings, and on the other side, he's very, very cheap as well. Against a Brooklyn team who isn't the best at rebounding, they are a bit better this year with the addition of DeAndre Jordan, but regardless, not the best rebounding team. And Jahlil Okafor in the 3 starts has just been getting pretty big minutes. This 12-minute game that he got the start with was kind of fluky. We went over it, and that's why we played him the next 2 games. Or we played him this game. This was on a showdown slate. But he got in foul trouble in this game, and then Golden State was going super small with Draymond Green at the 5. So this was kind of a spot where we knew that he probably wasn't going to play very many minutes regardless. We went back to the well with him next game, and then even in foul trouble, he played 29 minutes against OKC. So assuming he gets to start today, they'll need his size against DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen. He'd be one of the locks of the day for me. So we're going to have to watch out for that news on Derek Favors. Like I said, he's on his way to being a game time decision as of right now. And that's pretty much it. Now, I mean, Reggie Jackson's also out, as well as Derrick Rose, and Tim Frazier's also, I believe, questionable still. So he's considered doubtful. So we're going to get another game, another stack from Detroit, and luckily we're going to get all this news before being the first game on the slate. It's a pace-up game against Washington. Washington, the 4th fastest team in the league, allowing the 4th highest effective field goal percentage at 55.3%. They're allowing a ton of offensive rebounds. They're just bad all around. One of the teams that you want to be focusing players against them, and they played a really tight rotation because last game it was the same situation. There was no Rose, Frazier, Reggie Jackson, Blake Griffin obviously still out. So they played a pretty tight rotation. 6 of their players played 28 plus minutes. The other guys played 15, 9, 7. Wouldn't expect these guys to get much minutes unless somebody got into foul trouble. So I'm going to go back to the well with all of these guys. They're super, super cheap. We saw that Bruce Brown actually led the team with a 28.5 usage percentage and assist percentage of 25.9%, and he played a massive 40 minutes. Don't know why he's so expensive everywhere, or so cheap rather everywhere. 3.2K. He's going to be the chalk of the chalk. I joked around about it on Twitter, talking about how he was going to be a sneaky player, but in cash games, he's probably going to be around, I would guess, 60 to 70% owned, and rightfully so. The matchups there, he's going to be starting at point guard again. His assist opportunities were there, so it's hard for me to get away from him. In this game, it has a close spread, only 2 point favorite, or currently 3-point favorites for the Washington Wizards. They're projected for 111 points, and if they're going to be this concentrated with only 6 players playing for the majority of the time, I'm going to go back to the well with them. Andre Drummond is probably in a vacuum, my 3rd favorite stud on the night, but I probably have a bit more than him than Giannis Antetokounmpo. If I was paying up for 2 studs today, it would be Drummond and James Harden, given their prices and position. We know we'll go into James Harden a bit later. But Andre Drummond, if you watch the game, with all those point guards out, he had a ton of assist opportunities last game. He was bringing it up the court some of the time, and for a center, he really has a pretty high usage rating. And like I said earlier, Washington, a bottom 10 team in the league in terms of offensive rebounds. So they're allowing a ton of offensive rebounds, a lot of putbacks for guys like Andre Drummond. This is something you really want to look for. It's just, and he's playing massive minutes as well. It's hard for me not to play him today, even on Fanduel where you're only allowed to play one center, especially if Jahlil Okafor opens up. It's going to be hard to play him. But I think more than not, I'm going to be playing Andre Drummond on all of the sites today. Who else? And then Luke Kennard also was playing massive minutes in this game. His usage rate was up. We see he's taking a step forward this year, seemingly. A 28.2 assist percentage or usage percentage. He was playing some of the point. He had a 16.7 assist percentage going on throughout this game, and he's only $5,000. He's probably outside. If I were to rank the guys I'm most likely to have him on my cash teams from this game, is going to be, or from this team rather, it's probably going to be Bruce Brown, Andre Drummond, then Luke Kennard. And then actually, I think I might have Markieff Morris a bit higher than Luke Kennard just based off his price. But I do like Markieff Morris or Luke Kennard quite a bit today. Markieff Morris as well, same thing, only $4,000. His usage rate wasn't as high as it was in the previous games, but he's going to be playing these 32, 34 minutes every single game moving forward, as long as Blake Griffin is out. If you look through the box or through the popcorn machines on these earlier games, the only time he was ever really losing minutes and playing under 32 minutes was if he was in foul trouble, or if Christian Wood got in the game and just started playing really, really well and kept Markieff Morris off the court. Don't expect that to happen today. At $4,000, I like him quite a bit. And all these plays are in play on all these other sites like Fantasydraft and Fanduel. They're equally as cheap everywhere. And so yeah, even in cash games, I don't mind playing 4 of these Detroit players. I'm pretty risk adverse, but in this matchup, it's hard for me to get away from them. And then another guy, so you're going to be playing all this value, and it really opens up a ton. So you could play like 2 or 3 stars today. It's really easy to play 3 stars today. And to go to a guy like James Harden is something that I'm going to be doing. We see with Russell Westbrook off the court this year, he's averaging 1.89 fantasy points per minute in a pace-up game against Memphis. We see that Memphis is the 3rd fastest team in the league. Rockets, the fastest team in the league. It's hard for me to get away from James Harden this game. We know it's happened year after year after year when James Harden's not playing next to Westbrook this year, or Chris Paul before. You just want to jam in James Harden. We saw that he was 12K last year at a certain certain point, and we played him every single time. You just make it fit. He's only 10.8K now in a great matchup against Memphis. And remember, this isn't the Memphis Grizzlies of old with Mike Conley and Marcus Gasol. It's the John Morant and Brandon Clark. There's not even Jaren Jackson, who's a pretty good defender in his own right. It's a really bad defensive team, really pace up team. It's going to be the fastest paced team or game on the slate. Going to want to get a lot of James Harden today, and maybe bring it back with a guy like Brandon Clark with Jaren Jackson sitting out. But yeah, we'll be talking a bit more extensively about my favorite plays of the day with the more updated news later on Twitch, twitch.tv/sharpsportsnetwork. So if you want to check us out over there, that'd be much appreciated. So best of luck today, and until next time, peace.